Hey, welcome to the Motor Mouth YouTube channel. I'm Zach.
I'm Andrea.
And this is Questions, Coffee, and Cars 194. How do you get a question in?
Follow along on Instagram at motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday morning, I put a post out asking for questions. Once we gather them, the post is deleted and we start the show.
Time now for Questions, Coffee, and Cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
When do you test drive the new Hyundai Palisade? I hear it's arriving in dealerships at the end of the month. Yeah, it does say early summer. We're actually driving it next week in the Napa Valley.
Yes, we're going to be driving it, but that's not early summer, Andrea. Well, I guess it's middle of summer.
Middle of summer, but I guess it's coming. It's coming. We're driving it, so we look forward to sharing that review with you.
Stay tuned.
Hi there, love your content. Thoughts on recent Nissan recalls due to manufacturing defects in engine bearings. I have a 2024 Nissan Rogue.
Well, recalls are so common. Like if you look up recalls every week, there will be hundreds of thousands of cars recalled.
Yeah.
Some of them are for minor things. Engine bearings is not minor. That is, you got to rip the engine apart and replace bearings. That's not cheap. So what are they actually just replacing the bearings or doing engine block replaces?
It says the engine bearings may have manufacturing defects that can lead to engine failure. Nissan says a failed engine can lead to obviously a loss of power and increase the risk of a crash.
Yes.
So they haven't said exactly, but they are checking them all. It affects 1.5 liter turbo, 3 cylinders, and 2 liter turbo, 4 cylinders. So it's the 2021, 2024 Rogue, 2019 to 2020 Ultima, 2019 to 2022 Infiniti QX50, and 2022 Infiniti QX55. Like they're.
I want to know is what's the fix? Like, are they replacing engines or are they having to pull the whole engine apart just to get to the bearings?
Yeah, I think at this point they're checking. I don't know, to see exactly what
And I wonder if they're
on.
just rod bearings. If they're rod bearings, then they might be able to just access them from the bottom. But anyway.
All it says is engine bearings.
So if you tuned in last time, we had the guy, its timing's impeccable, Andrea, that would run by. And there he goes. He's running by again. It's crazy.
The runner's back.
I said to Andrea, I think he's well into his 60s.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I would say most of you enjoyed our commentary
on
of
his
the
running.
However, there were a few of you who thought that you didn't understand why we would do it. It was just a fun shtick. We're just trying to lighten things up.
I'm just going to tell you right now, it's one and done, okay? The guy ran by. If you see him run by again, you can count along at home, but we're one and done. I don't need the negativity.
No.
People thought I was negative too last couple of videos. They thought,
I know, they said he was in a bad mood.
Well, we came back from Europe. We were in Europe for a week and I came back and then we did Questions, Coffee, and Cars and I was still jet lagged.
Yeah,
So I think it showed up in my replies, Andrea. I was a little...
You're irritable.
A little grumpy pants.
Yeah, a little irritable. Is this great timing for Nissan?
No.
No. Obviously not. I'm sure they were probably like, great. 440,000 vehicles are being recalled and looked at. So, no, it's not great timing.
But these things happen all the time.
At least they're looking into it. Safety is obviously a concern. Interestingly enough, with the Rogue, we have viewers who own two viewers who came forward and said they have a Rogue and they had issues with being on. I have to say, being on the highway and then the engine just going. So I'm not sure if that was relatable to this. Maybe this was the worry. This was the concern.
Or it could have been an electrical issue. We're not putting the two together.
We don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know. But I just remember these two viewers telling me
Andrea tanks Rogue sales.
No, I think the Rogue is a great product. I'm actually surprised
you're really pitching it.
I'm actually surprised that it goes back that far to 2021.
Well, when did they introduce the 1.5? I thought it was like 23 or something like that.
Me too. I thought it was later. So
Anyway.
I don't know why it's 2021 because it says 2 liter turbo 4 cylinder, which is the Infiniti models, but the Rogue had the 2 liter non-turbo. Am I wrong?
And I think they're both variable compression, which might be the culprit. Just saying. Okay, let's move on to the next question. 'Cause
Let's
I'm done
move.
with
Let's
done with
move
that.
on.
And
Anyway.
by the way, Nissan isn't going anywhere.
No.
They're
Hey,
gonna-
there's
if-
rumors that Toyota might be buying Nissan.
Like people are like, I'm not want to buy a Rogue because are they going to be around? And it's like, no, they're not going anywhere. Car companies don't really
No.
disappear. They get gobbled up by another car company.
No, and like I said, some of their products are great. I'm sorry to hear that they're having to do this. It's not great
That
timing.
Armada, hell yeah.
Great.
That's a great truck.
Fantastic. Even the Murano. Murano we like. Pathfinder. Frontier. I
Okay,
could go
I
on.
just want to tell you, he's just going home now. He heard all the negativity, and he's just turned the corner and he's gone home. The jogger, okay?
I test drove a 2026 Kia Sportage or Sportage in Canada. Hybrid. I loved everything about the vehicle.
Is
but
there a but?
Yes, but I found the seats unbearably firm. It's my first time driving a car with leather seats. I was wondering if these break in with use or are meant to remain this firm.
We found the same thing, and I
Not
think
with the Sportage. With
Well,
the Telluride
yeah,
was
but-
really... But Sportage wasn't as bad as the Telluride. However...
I just wanted to say that I think that it comes down to the trim that you're driving. If it has the leather seats, I can't remember which one we had. We might have had the leatherette, and they might be confused too. They might think they're getting the leather, but it's actually leatherette. You have to try the different trims because we found it really varies.
Yeah, and we found that with Mazda models as well. The cloth seats feel a lot better and not as firm. I don't believe that the leather or the leatherette that's being used in these models is going to break in.
No.
This is your seat. So if it's uncomfortable for
Don't buy
you,
it.
don't buy it. You're going to have to look for something else. But we do find that cloth is better sometimes depending on the brand.
You know what brand does an excellent job with seat comfort is the Ford Motor Company. Their seats are really comfortable. And Toyota's, I've said it so many times, whatever foam they use in their seats is very comfortable. But I would put, Ford seats can be as comfortable as Volvo seats.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know, Zach and I did a long time ago. We did an Escape hybrid and a RAV4. It was the RAV4
Oh,
hybrid,
Escape
I think.
That's when Andrea
Remember?
first started doing the
yeah,
videos
and
on the
and
channel.
we did a comparison between the two. And Zach and I drove both vehicles for an extended period of time. We went on a little road trip. And we found the Ford seats to be so comfortable on that road trip. So they're doing something right at the Ford Motor Company.
And by the way, they have a hybrid too, which I really like. Every time I drive the Ford Escape, I'm pleasantly surprised by it, and you might too. You might be as well.
Slate is being built in Michigan, Indiana, and Scout is in South Carolina. I'm not sure when either will be available yet. I'm wondering if Scout will be sold through the VW dealer locations or if there is a different plan. It sounds like Slate is mail order only. Not sure how you would get maintenance and repairs if that is the case. Funny that we were talking about Slate last night at the dinner table with the Motormouth bros. And Charlie's like, well, how much is this Slate truck going to cost? And he's like, is it going to be 15,000 Canadian?
It's like, what are you smoking, man?
No.
15,000 Canadian.
Could you imagine that? So anyway, this is what's online. This is not confirmed by the manufacturer, but Slate, the electric truck manufacturer, anticipates deliveries starting late 2026. Now, Scout Motors is an independent company of the Volkswagen Group. And no, it will not be sold at Volkswagen dealerships.
But no, just to be clear, Slate and Scout are not the same thing.
No, totally different.
No. You made it sound like Slate and Scout are connected.
No.
They are not. Slate is one company. Scout is going to be a subdivision of Volkswagen.
And it will be using direct-to-consumer sales.
Like Tesla, yeah.
Like Tesla. The thing about electric vehicles, a lot can be done through software updates. And if you do have a problem, they can just come to your driveway and they can fix the vehicle there.
Well,
let me just finish. Yeah. If you are uncomfortable with that, there are a ton of brands that sell electric vehicles now that have dealerships.
Yes, but I mean, if it's some things can be done. Like I mean, there was famous with Tesla. Would come and they'd fix the stupid door handles when they first brought out the first Model S. That was a big bugaboo. Hello, who would have thought that the weird door handles would break? But they did. But they would come and they'd fix it in your driveway, which is great, and people were happy, and it was a simple fix. But if you have problems with drive units and stuff like that, like the suspension, you're not doing that in the driveway.
No.
But yeah, it's something of this whole model that they have to figure out. I suspect that maybe they would scoot the little Scouts over to a VW store.
I said no. It's going to be run separately, but you could go to a VW store and get an ID4.
It's not going to look as cool as a Scout, though.
No. So you have to kind of live with that, the pros and the cons of something like that. But I mean, I don't think I would be too concerned about it. Look at Tesla. They haven't had any issues. It's been fine for Tesla.
But they have service centers where you get your car fixed if
They
it
do,
needs to be done.
But a lot of viewers who have Teslas tell me if there's a problem, they just come to their house and deal with it. And they actually say the service is pretty good. Hi, great show. Thank you. You're setting the pace for one of the best formats for car content. Oh, we appreciate that. Is there any more?
What do you mean, who's better if we're setting the pace? Or we've set the pace?
It says you're setting the pace. I think that's a good thing, huh?
I think that's good. Yeah, I like
setting
that.
the pace
All right,
is good.
setting the pace.
I'll take that, setting the pace. Is there any more buzz on how Canada should adopt the EU standards so more choice can come to our country? Also, how come the updated Outlander plug-in hybrid electric vehicle is already on sale in Europe? And also, they have the Eclipse Cross PHEV and we don't.
Can we work backwards on that
Yeah,
one?
go
So
for it.
the Outlander is going to be coming the first quarter of 2026 as the plug-in. The gas one has already been updated already, and we thought it was really well done. The updates, even though you really can't spot them,
No.
excellent updates on that, and they're going to be moved into the PHEV. Things like the big radio, the Yamaha sound system, which is, I'm going to do it, Andrea, chef's kiss.
Really good.
And then they're tinkling with the battery. They haven't said what it is. I guess we could look it up in Europe. Maybe it might be slightly different, but they're going to upgrade the battery.
Hey, listen, Toyota upgraded it on the RAV4 plug-in hybrid. So my bet is that the Outlander is going to have more range as well. Plus, they want to be able to get a credit or half a credit from the Canadian government with an electrified vehicle.
Oh, we don't. Oh,
it's,
yeah.
It's coming, the 80 kilometers in Canada. It's not here yet, but they're saying in the future, these plug-in hybrids have to have 80 plus kilometers of range to receive a credit. If everything stays the same with all the targets.
It won't. It can't.
So I think manufacturers are working towards that. And right now, the Outlander has 60 kilometers of range. However, on the European test cycle, they always had it being much higher than the 60 kilometers. I would say that some viewers who have that Outlander plug-in hybrid are getting better than the 60 kilometers, and you can chime in if you own one.
Okay, so why is it being delivered in Europe first? Well, that's been the historic rollout of this product. It was introduced for the Japanese market. This is the very first plug-in, and then it was sold in Europe for many years before it finally came to North America. So that cadence doesn't really change when they introduce a new one. So domestic market, Europe, and then North America. Listen, it's going to be what, 6-8 months behind? Does it really matter? They actually have to have capacity at the factory to fulfill enough orders for everybody. But it's good news that the Outlander has transformed the Mitsubishi brand. And people in the US don't understand because the dealer network isn't as strong. But in Canada, we have more dealers, and the sales in Canada each and every year continue to go up basically on the back of Outlander and the PHEV.
And it's a great product. Like, we really like it. And surprisingly, the new gas model that they brought out with the updates, it's quiet. It is quiet for a gas model. So that's impressive. As for the EU standards, yes, Canada is trying to do more with the EU now because of the
Orange Man, yeah.
little conflict with the US right now and tariffs. However, we are so intertwined with the North American market and regulations in the car industry that sure, it may be possible, but boy, there would be a lot of red tape.
Yeah.
And does anything really get done quickly
So
where we are.
All they would need to do is to recognize the European standards for safety. And are you telling me that a French car that's sold in Europe is not as safe? I don't know. They just have a different way of measuring it. But they do in Mexico. Like Mexico is part of the North American NAFTA or USMCA or whatever, CUSMA, whatever you want to call it today. And they allow international products to come in, and they've obviously relaxed their standards for safety. So, or they've allowed their safety regulations to be acknowledged. That's all that would need to be done, is that they would say, okay, we now acknowledge the European safety standard to be sold in Canada, but do you want to poke the bear? That's the problem. Do you want to, that's the nuclear option. Two things you could do is just say, hey, we'll start importing cars from Europe and we'll allow Chinese EVs to come in.
I think you're going to have a problem.
That's the nuclear option.
Yeah, it's not a good idea to torment him. Let's just say that, because he could just slap more tariffs on Canada. So I think it would be a problem. That's my view. I don't believe it will ever come. I think we're too intertwined with the North American market. But I love the fact that there are a ton of vehicles there, including vehicles from the Volkswagen Group.
Oh, yeah.
That are great. Even Nissan.
Hey, we were in Portugal, and I know the T-Roc line of small SUVs. It's kind of like their original version of Taos. So I always thought, wouldn't it be great if they brought T-Roc to North America? They didn't. They decided to bring in Taos instead, which is fine. But we were getting in the Lexus RZ and we're about to drive it. And I look across and I didn't even know this existed. There is a T-Roc 2-door convertible little mini SUV. I'm like, how cool is that?
The cutest.
So cute. And I'm like, Andrea would like one of those.
I would love one of those.
So,
by the way, I'm taking Ruby out a whole lot. Having a blast.
And then the other one is like vehicles like the European Passat wagon. I mean, you have to. One of the problems is you have to go through the whole safety process for the North American standard. But if they just acknowledge the European standard, here's my prediction about Donald Trump and the tariffs and any kind of new USMCA deal. Canada does not have a lot of cards to play. But they're just a much bigger economy. The U.S. is more than 10 times bigger than Canada.
Yeah.
So we're going to have, unfortunately, Canadians, if Donald Trump remains through the midterms with the strength he's got now, there's going to have to be things given up. And that's just the way it is. We just don't have, they're just so much bigger than us.
You know, another one that I really like that we don't get is the Touareg. Remember the Touareg?
Too expensive.
I know.
The problem with the Touareg is an over-engineered SUV. Think of a Porsche Cayenne. And then the cost to bring it in and what it costs to make it, it just was a small market. I mean, you're up against you can buy a GLE or an X5 or a Cayenne.
I remember sitting in one at an auto show in Vancouver, and I just thought, wow, what a nice vehicle.
Do you know what's really weird, Andrea, that you bring up the Touareg? I swear to you.
Did you see one?
No, this morning I was on Facebook Marketplace looking up used Volkswagen Touareg TDIs.
Get out.
Yeah, swear to God. I haven't looked up a used Volkswagen Touareg TDI ever.
Okay, that is weird. Zach and I, this happens a lot for us. I think it, and then I say it because I'm...
No, you think it.
No,
I think it, and you say it, or vice versa.
Or vice versa, but I'm always the one who, says it. And then Zach goes, get out.
I was just thinking that.
We're so...
Okay, I'm going to think of something right now and see if you can guess what it is.
Oh,
ready?
Gosh, really?
Yeah. Okay, ready? Okay. Anytime now.
He's wondering how much that house costs.
No, I'm going to say, you should have a drink of my coffee.
I was just going to say that. But then I saw him glance at the
I'm
for
just
sale
staring up.
sign, and I was just going to say, I'm really enjoying my coffee.
Isn't that crazy? Want to do it again?
No, because we've already said it.
Anyway, I'm not saying that the Touareg TDI is in our future, but I was thinking for our son, Charlie. He's maybe thinking of buying a car. So I've been looking at used cars for him. And then I just, for whatever reason, I just thought, well, I wonder what used Touareg TDIs go for. Anyway, you can pick them up, but they're all got high miles.
By the way, after Motormouth Bros drove the Mini Cooper S convertible, Charlie is absolutely in love with a convertible now. He wants a convertible. So Zach's online looking at BMW convertibles that, he...
Old 25-year-old
ones. But here's the thing. Charlie has a Honda Civic that's already bought and paid for.
We have a Honda Civic.
We have a Honda
that he's
Civic
allowed to drive. Let's
that
clarify that.
He's the primary driver of. And everything is paid for. So very lucky boys, yes. We know that. They know that. And they're appreciative of that.
And I remind them at dinner every night how lucky they are.
Now they're doing Motormouth Bros. So they're driving these press vehicles. And when Zach and I are out of town, sometimes they're just sitting there anyway. So he's driving them. So he's got all these new vehicles. So my bet is that Charlie's talking about a convertible, but he's not going to buy one because he doesn't want to spend his money.
He likes his money.
He does.
And the thing is, he's got a good setup. He's got mom and pop, got a Civic going for him, free of charge. And now he's got, I texted him the other day. I said, what do you want a convertible for? You got free cars to drive every week.
Oh, he really, on a summer day in Vancouver, the temperature is absolutely perfect. A convertible
people are
is
gonna
amazing.
Say, I can hear it now, Andrea. Well, what about Ruby? He's too big.
Actually, I took him in Ruby. He doesn't know how to drive manual, but we're working on that. We've put him on the GTI for insurance to learn how to drive manual. But he was in Ruby, and Charlie will tell you he's 6'1", but I swear to God, he's 6'3". And
yeah, but Andrea, he's got my thing, all torso.
You're right, Zach.
So he's like 6'5".
He's got the long torso like Zach, which he's not happy about, by the way, that he got.
Well, what are you going to do?
Genes.
What can I do about
Jack,
it?
on the other hand, is more proportion. So, but hey, things happen. You can't. Genetics are genetics. So Charlie,
he got all this handsome too. I mean, poor kid's got to go through life with all this handsome.
You believe that? That's Zach. I let him have it all. Anyway, Charlie sat in the Miata. I took him to his friends, and I put the roof down. And he said, "Mom, with the roof up, I don't think I could sit in here, let alone drive it." So I think that Ruby is just a little bit too small for Charlie, and we hear this from
Andrea,
viewers.
We've gone like over 20 minutes now. Let's just do one more.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're going on about joggers.
We're babbling.
How we share the
That's
same.
what somebody said.
Share the same brain.
We're babbling.
And now we're babbling.
I'm Rick. This is Rick. And I'm based in Calgary, Alberta. I have a question. Okay, great, Rick. I'm in the market for a 3 to 4-year-old used Lexus RX 350. I noticed, though, that most of the vehicles listed online do not have odometer readings and maintenance records on the vehicle history report. Considering that the vehicle is still fairly new and most likely still under warranty, I'd like to believe that Lexus would update the vehicle history report. However, this doesn't seem to be the case.
I think that...
That's weird.
Listen, if you're going to buy a 3-year-old Lexus, buy it from a dealer. Make sure it has the CPO warranty, the certified pre-owned warranty. I suspect they don't put the mileage on it because they want you to call them. Hey, I'm calling about your 2023 Lexus RX 350. Oh, hey, Rick, why don't you come in? Like, I think it's just their way of getting you into the store. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Why they wouldn't be on there. One thing you can do is when you go on the listing from the dealer, see if it has a Carfax report. Sometimes they'll list it on Auto Trader, and Auto Trader often has that. At the very top, it says, read the Carfax report. Usually dealers will put that up because the Carfax report will list, all of the times it's been in for service or been re-registered, and should have a fairly recent odometer number on it. But I think if that's what the dealer's doing, I think that they're just wanting you to come in.
But then go in. If you find one that looks, you think is really the trim that you want and it has the features you want, just go in. Check out the odometer reading yourself and then demand the records.
Yeah.
You want the records. Don't ever buy a vehicle unless you see the maintenance records, because you just don't know.
Depends how old it is, because sometimes they just don't get passed along with the car. I mean, but if a 3 or 4-year-old car, you should have all the records. So the dealer should have the records, and you should be able to even look it up in their maintenance department if the car was bought at that dealership. But buy a CPO'd car, have the service records, and you might have to phone, or you can maybe look online for a Carfax.
Just-
And a Carfax you should look up anyway.
Yeah, and I would go in and I would speak to them and see, I don't know, do they not have pricing either? Probably not.
just
So
doesn't
find
make
out
any
what's
sense to
going
me.
on there. And then get some information. But I feel uncomfortable with not having that info. I think it's weird.
So just one last thing, just to get around this. If they're not doing it on the dealer website, go to a third-party website like Trader. Go to Auto Trader, look up 21 to 23-year-old, 2021 to 2023 Lexus RX 350s, and it'll populate all the ones that are for sale in your area.
Yeah.
Often will be done by dealers, and when you click on it, they do populate it with the mileage. So you can maybe find it out that way.
So if you want to get a question in, follow along on Instagram at motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday I put a post out asking for questions. It's only up for a short time. I think in a half hour on this last post on Sunday, we got 50 questions. We can't even answer them all. So, get them in, watch for that post, and also subscribe.
Yeah, we keep forgetting to do that.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.